I was looking at the toilet paper, and there was blood in my stool again. My heart instantly sunk. Why was I having another flare? As the day passes by, I'm frantically thinking, what have I done to cause this again? What have I eaten in the last 24 hours? What stressful event has caused this to happen again? By the end of the day, I am more loose, more urgent, and way more blood than it was when I first started. But what if I just stayed calm? Would it have gotten this bad? The strangest part is the answer is very simple. It's to sit down and to meditate. Look, I know what you're thinking, how can meditation have anything to do with the flare-up whatsoever? Just think, stress itself, what happens when you have a stressful situation on your bowels? So the stress itself can disrupt your gut mobility. It can affect your mucus production, which is basically the lining on your bowels, so anything can go through it. It can alter your gut microbiome. So obviously there's bad bacteria that thrive on stress and all these sorts of different paraffins and everything that's in your system. It can thin your gut lining and also increases pro-inflammatory cytokines, I think you pronounce it. All this because you decided to stress out that you saw a little bit of blood inside your stool. But the bottom line is that blood could have meant anything. It could have meant that the fact is you've got just a little bit of a sore patch in your bowels, and as it was passing through, or it could have been a fresh bit of skin inside your bowels where you've been healing, and it irritated it and then just produced a little bit of blood. But because you have taken the whole day to stress over every single last little thing, you have caused this extra damage that's going on in your system. So this actually brings me back to every single flare-up I had. Like, I was exactly the same. So I was one of these people that always seemed to have flares, one after the other, and then I'd go into remission like a slight few months, and then I'd have another flare-up. And every single time I saw a tiny bit of blood in my stool, I used to go through this panic, this major upset that, oh no, I've got to go back on the penicillin, oh no, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, I've got to get hold of my IBD specialist, I don't want another flare-up, I don't want to go back on my medication. But if I decided to sit down, take a few breaths, really breathe in and breathe out, and focusing on trying to calm your system, I can guarantee that it wouldn't end up anywhere as bad as the situation that you would have been in. And the reason I can tell that is because that's the last time I had a flare-up, that's exactly what I did. So I was about 6 months into the carnivore diet. I had a bit of stress going on around that time. I found a little bit of blood in my stool. I thought, I'm not going to panic. I'm on the most anti-inflammatory diet there is. What I'll do is I'll tighten up. So at the time I was having bits of chicken, bacon, butter, things like that. So what I decided to do was just go to beef, salt and water, proper clean my diet up, really focused on staying calm and reducing the amount of stress. And within the space of about 4 days, there were no symptoms whatsoever in my UC. Literally 4 days. And I say it never even went as bad as what I did before. When I had bad flare-ups, it was like at least 15 times a day where I was constantly like shitting loads of blood. And I mean like loads and loads of blood. And this was like a little bit of blood here and there. A little bit more urgency. But because I stayed calm, reduced the amount of stress, and I wasn't fucking up basically my intestines, I wasn't, causing more damage to my gut lining, which is a massive thing for people with ulcerative colitis. They have such a thin gut lining that anything that damages it even more, it just means it's more easier for food particles and things like that to go into your bloodstream where they're not supposed to be. So that causes even more of an inflammatory marker in your system because it's telling you this isn't supposed to be here. So quite a lot of the flares get a lot worse because we take it to that next level instead of just sitting back, taking a few breaths and then focusing on what we can control, because at the end of the day, the stress is one thing we can definitely control. One thing I've been really focusing on is calming down the vasgus nerve. So this vasgus nerve is basically one that comes from the back of your neck and it goes all around your system, and it goes like pretty much every part of your intestines and things like that. Now, if your vasgus nerve is out of whack, it will cause you all sorts of different like upsets. It can cause your digestion to slow down. It can cause your bile not to come out. It can cause your stomach acid not to be very high. It can cause you to have cramps. It can cause you to have diarrhea. The vasgus nerve, if it is out of whack, can cause loads and loads of issues. So from just taking a step back and having that breathing, making sure that you are like keeping calm, taking a few breaths, really focusing on that side of things, the ulcerative colitis itself hasn't got a chance to escalate so fast. So if you do need to, obviously, after a few more days, need to go on penicillin or anything, it's still giving you that chance to sit back and try to alter other things before you get onto the medication. Because that was one of the worst things I kept on doing before. Oh, because I got told by the doctors that the only thing that can get rid of the inflammation is medication. So there's me, as soon as I saw a bit of blood, I panicked, everything else, started shooting blood even more, and then I'd be on the phone straight away saying, I need another course of penicillin. So I was on these cortisol steroids, causing all sorts of different side effects like fat face, spots everywhere, joint pain, fatigue. Then it also makes you like infertile. I found out at one point when I was trying for another baby that it would make me infertile, which the doctors never said anything to me. If you need to go on medication, that is obviously fine. But don't make your symptoms worse by causing all this stress on your system. So there's 3 steps you can take if you were to have a flare like right now. The first step is to either sit on the toilet where you are and just sit and meditate. Or you can wipe your ass and go downstairs and then meditate. Just literally take 5-10 minutes. Just take a few deep breaths. Realize that it might not even become a full flare-up. It might just end up being just a little bit of blood. Then the next time you go to the toilet, it might not be anything. So you need to really focus on calming your system down and really focusing on just not elevating these bad reactions when you get stressed. The second step is to see what you can do to help relieve the inflammation. So obviously, like the example I gave for me, I was on the carnivore diet. I just stripped all the way back to beef, soy and water. Because I know that is the most anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense food on the planet. And then within a few days, it was sorted. And I didn't need to go on any medication. I literally just timed it up. Hey presto, in a few days, that was it, gone. Now, I obviously know that's not going to be for everyone. But if you can, tighten up your diet, tighten up the things that are causing you stress. So if you're at work and it's a very stressful situation, maybe take a few days off. Maybe bring yourself back out of that situation, or if it's family and you're arguing or everything like that, it's causing a lot of stress, or court dates, or this, that, and other, whatever it is, try and take a few steps back and relieve the stress just for a few days until you can get your bowels back in a good condition. Step number 3 is basically just keeping a symptom tracker. See, what you do is then over the course of them few days when you're trying to get away from the stress, you're trying to obviously keep your system in a nice calm state, take away foods that irritate. Now you've got the symptom tracker, which is basically you just saying, right, okay, so today the symptoms have been this and this and this. The next day, this and this and this. Okay, they're a little bit better today. The next day, okay, they're a little bit better again. So maybe I don't need to go on the penicillin or onto these anti-inflammatory drugs or whatever it is that the doctor wants to give you. You can just be like, right, okay, it's starting to get better, starting to get better. But then after a few days, if it doesn't, then obviously you can start taking the steps forward and be like, right, okay, I've given this a few days. I'm going to go into maybe speaking to my IBD specialists. Or if you click the link in the top of the description, that is for the course. It's called the Regenerative UC Healing Course. I've created a course to help you heal your ulcerative colitis as fast as possible. And it uses the carnivore elimination diet as principles, but it's not just the carnivore diet. It's a whole range of lifelong healing that's going to help you build a fantastic gut lining. It's going to help you get out of the inflammation that you've got. It's going to help you, well, with the guidance of your medical profession, get off medication, and hopefully it will give you the healing that you need to then moving forward and something that you could use for basically the rest of your life. So it's the top link in the description. And yeah, that's it. Hope this video helps, and I'll see you again soon.